this violence has got to stop in our city. And it is not just a police problem. It is a community problem.
Fresno is notorious for gang problems. And according to Fresno Police Chief Jerry Dyer, it's going to take a community to keep them under control. Gang violence is in all four corners of Fresno. Last year, turf wars made the city's murder rate spike by 20%. In half of those 48 murders, either the victim or the accused killer was a gang member. When it comes to getting even, it seems guns wind up in the hands of the wrong people. In Fresno, police officers seized more than 650 weapons. The old days of shooting to intimidate have apparently come and gone. Police say gang members appear more intent on hitting their targets. To try to curb the violence, in 2014, Fresno police launched more than 100 gang operations.
We have got to band together and to get these guns off the street and gang members, and we need to find ways to keep people out of gangs. And I am so fed up, and I know so many other people are fed up with the gang violence in our city.
The death of 9-year-old Janessa Ramirez, caught in the crossfire last December, made us all wonder, when will the madness end? Tonight in our KMPH Fox 26 News Town Hall, we explore what the Fresno area can do about gangs and the violence they bring to our communities. Our panel members include Fresno County Sheriff Margaret Mims, Fresno Police Chief Jerry Dyer, Pastor B.T. Lewis from Rising Star Missionary Baptist Church, and outreach worker Ernie Rodriguez. You can join from home by tweeting your comments and questions using the hashtag RiseUpFresno, or you can post to our Facebook page. Now, here's tonight's KMPH Fox 26 Town Hall meeting moderator, KMPH Fox 26 News anchor, Monty Torres.
Good evening and welcome to this KMPH Fox 26 News Town Hall. The subject, gangs and gang violence in our community. I'm Monty Torres. I will be your moderator for this evening. We are coming to you from the chapel at People's Church in Fresno. And as I look out, I see a near capacity audience. People who, in their professional capacities as officers of the law, as deputies, as investigators, sheriff deputies, attorneys, as ministers, people who in their calling have all, in one way or another, been touched by the reality of gangs and gang violence in our community, in some cases very personally. And that's why we're here tonight. That's why we're happy all of you are here tonight, because we know you have something to say. And the theme for this town hall, as we have labeled it, hashtag Rise Up Fresno, is because we want to come together and promote the coming together for ideas that can address this problem in our community. Let me start then with our panel and with Police Chief Jerry Dyer. Gangs, how big a problem is it? And as we heard in the opening story from Rich Rodriguez, the recent death of Janessa Ramirez, what does that tell us about where that problem is going?
Well, unfortunately, gangs in our community is the #1 threat facing Fresno. And I believe that's true for many cities across this nation. And all you have to do is turn on the nightly news to see another drive-by shooting and some type of an incident involving a gang member. And when you look at the city of Fresno, we have somewhere between 18 and 20,000 people that are in gangs. And those individuals are the ones that are out there committing drive-by shootings, robberies, involved in human trafficking, prostitution. So it is a significant gang. They're involved in the drug trade, and unfortunately, the vast majority of these individuals are armed, and they're willing to use those firearms. And as in the case with Janessa, bullets do not have eyes. And when you have two rival gangs that are involved in a shooting, and there's retaliation involved, and there's a lot of rounds fired, the chance of an innocent person being shot, and in Janessa's case being killed, is very real.
Sheriff Margaret Mims, this is not just a problem for the city of Fresno, is it?
Absolutely not. In fact, in Fresno County, it has been identified by the state of California as a high-intensity gang area, the whole county. Every single one of our cities, every single one of our communities have gang issues. If they aren't recognized gangs, they have their little groups that will try and get together and form a gang. It's interesting that in Fresno County, we represent 3% of the total of the nationwide gang members, individual gang members. So we have a huge issue with it. However, the good news is just between 2013 and 2014, for Fresno County statistics, gang crimes went down about 25%. And a lot of that is working very closely with our community members. We have to develop that trust. And a very, very active, proactive MAGIC unit, our multi-agency gang consortium that is made up of many different law enforcement agencies. None of us by ourselves can address this. We have to work together as well as with our community.
And Sheriff Mims, the numbers you cite are encouraging. But let me ask crisis intervention worker Ernie Rodriguez with the Project Restore, is law enforcement, do they have the only answer? Are they the only answer to this problem?
Definitely not. I mean, it's evident that you need somebody of that same environment to be able to relate to these people, or should I say these individuals, so that we can communicate, so that they're able to say, okay, well, I can hear you out. What do you got to say? What do you got to offer? So, yeah, definitely. The community and these organizations are an asset to make something happen.
And Pastor Lewis, the faith community, what can that offer to this problem?
Well, I think our faith community can, you know, when you talk about gangs, I really hate to call people gang members. I know that's what they're classified as, but they're still people. And I think we need to humanize the problem. And when you do that, I think that we have to go back to the place where we are, the faith community in particular, where we are pushing ourselves to get out in our community, to meet the people in our community, the families of people that we have that are gang members, and to try to change their perspective on life and their hopes for their lives.
And changing perspectives is what we hope to help accomplish tonight, or finding solutions for this. So we brought together all these people with the professional backgrounds, with the experience, who want to address this problem. I'm going to invite you forward, and please come forward and state your name and your affiliation.
My name's Kim Sanchez, and I'm an Assistant United States Attorney with the Department of Justice. You know, the Department of Justice and other prosecutorial agencies are only one small part of solving this problem. I've worked with all the panel members here, and I think this collaborative effort is something that has to be sustained. And it's a multifaceted effort. You know, the social services, outreach workers, community members, all coming together with prosecution and law enforcement to attack the problem of gangs.
Thank you. So as we put this together, as we talk about coming together, also, what else can we do that we're not doing right now in that regard? What are some brass tacks issues that we can do? What steps forward can we make?
Well, I can tell you one of the things that we've been very successful in, and you saw Kim Sanchez, U.S. Attorney's Office. We have what's called Fresno Ceasefire. And every other month we bring together a group of gang members that are the most violent, active, and influential gang members in our community, people that have been in prison, people that are involved in shootings. And we bring them face to face with many of our partners that you see in this room. We have the U.S. attorneys there, district attorney, probation department, parole, law enforcement. And we have a very frank, brief conversation with these individuals that the violence must stop. And once that message is conveyed, and each of the panel members, including Ernie and some of the other reformed gang members, have a conversation, we then leave the room and we allow them to interact with many of the social service providers and faith-based organizations and pastors within our community. And that program is having some success. But there's so much more that we need to do, because I've said many times, the gang problem in our community is not a police problem, it is a community problem.
Leonard Adams, pastor of St. Mark United Methodist Church and Sierra Vista United Methodist Church. Is there any consideration for reaching out to the children in the homes where gang activity is active, to stop the gangs at this level where we interact without touching bases with those that see them as a role model? It could be seen as just refueling the problem. Is there a response to that, my friends?
Well, I'd like to try to speak to that. I think that one of the things that we can do is we can ask our police department to beef up their initiative to do community policing. And I think that's one of the things they want to accomplish, but I think we can encourage them to really get to know the communities in which they protect and serve. And then also, I think I see people out here from Fresno EOC, and I see other projects out here that have programs that are work to rebuild our families. And so when we rebuild our families, I think we rebuild our children and give them new hopes for the future, redirect their energies into new places. And of course, in order to do that, we have to work on economic development in our communities that are affected most by gangs. Because if a person has a job, they're less likely to go down the wrong path.
We have a great many people here who have something to say and more questions to ask, and we do have the time to do that, but right now we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment.